Hey, family. Thank you for tuning in to the iVentLife podcast, your therapeutic outlet for venting the good and the misunderstood experiences of life. I'm your host, Crystal. Before we get into today's episode, let's take a moment and hear about our sponsor. So today's episode is sponsored by Jules Agency. Jewel is an insurance agent who can help you with all of your insurance needs, whether it's bonds, auto, home, business, workers' comp, all of the above. With over 25 years of experience, Jewel has a proven record and will go above and beyond to help make sure that the best possible choices are made for you and your family's insurance needs. Licensed in Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. Now, Jewel has been my agent for quite some time, so she does come highly recommended. I have a renter's policy, auto, and life policies with her. So I urge you to give her a call at 706-364-0851. Again, that number is 706-364-0851. Or you can visit the website at www.jfkagency.com. Again, that's www.jfkagency.com. If you have questions about insurance, Jewel has answers, or she can help you to find the answer. So when you reach out to her, be sure to tell her that Crystal sent you. Now, let's get into today's topic, the believer's assignment. Now, the topic of this episode changed many times, but that is the one that spoke to me the most. The believer's assignment. And my assignment today is to encourage you to stop blindly being a follower, but to gain knowledge and wisdom. Hosea 4 and 6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee." So, the assignment is easy. It's just to encourage you to do better because you know better. And what I mean by that is, so let's just say you participate in something with good intentions, but yet you are blindly participating in something that had a different origin intention, like yoga, for example. Now, yoga is good health wise. I don't know for fact, but that's just what I've been told. Actually, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia years back, and that was one of the activities that my doctor recommended that I start doing because I would, have great benefits from it. Um, I did I didn't do real research then. I just really looked on YouTube I watched some videos, but I never performed any of these what I thought were stretches or exercises. I don't know why, I just didn't at the time. It wasn't until years later I was listening to Tiffany Montgomery, a live that she did, and she mentioned yoga. So from then I did some research, and I simply just Googled origin of yoga, and come to find out it is derived from Hinduism. Um, and now remember, today's topic is the believer's assignment. So as a believer of Christ, um, we don't follow Hinduism. And so, yoga is rooted in spiritualism, and many of the postures have meanings that go beyond just a simple strengthening and lengthening of the muscles. And through my research, I discovered that each pose is worship to a little god or a different god, multiple gods. Um, and that's just not something that I didn't want to do it because um I couldn't I felt like I would be trying to serve two gods. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a Christian and here I am doing poses that worship another god. That doesn't even make sense when you say it out loud. So also if when you know better do better was a person, a friend of mine, I saw a post that she made where she was doing yoga, and I just gently went in her DMs and I was like, "Hey, um I think you should check this out. This is what I just learned. I'm only sharing it with you because I believe you to be a woman of God. And I wouldn't want you to, basically be participating in something that has a different meaning other than what you believe. You know what I'm saying?" So she did her research. She got back to me and she was like, "I'm never doing yoga again." And I commended her for that. Like, that was big. We should all be so obedient, you know? Um, but let's get into self-love for a moment. Now, for those of you who are familiar with me and my writings, I wrote a book recently or published a book recently called God, Family, and Everything Else. Now, this book is a 21-day commitment guide. And day 8 originally was entitled Self-Love, because that's the trend that I had been hearing. So I was like, "Oh, well, let me talk about self-love." So, I found some scriptures that dealt with, loving yourself, and I got ready to write and nothing. And I was like, "What's going on? Why can't I write this day? Like, what is happening?" And finally I was like, "God, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to show me? Talk to me. What is it? What am I doing wrong? I got to be doing something wrong because I can't finish this day." Um, and that night when I went to sleep, it was restless. And and then I don't know, it was the middle of the night, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and it was like God was saying, "Crystal," well, it's not like he was saying, God was like, "Go right." And I was like, "Oh God, I'm so tired." I'm literally pleading with God. I'm like, "Lord, I'm so tired. Please just allow me to rest. Tell me what it is that you want to tell me. And please don't let me forget." And I promise, as soon as I open my eyes, I'm going to go to the computer and I'm going to write exactly what you told me. And he did. He obliged. And I was so thankful. Um, so as soon as I woke up, which wasn't but a few hours later, I ran right over to my computer and I typed this: "Loving yourself and self-love are not the same. The difference is who you put first." That was a revelation that God gave me. So, in my book, I say loving yourself is a direct reflection of the love you have for Christ and how you treat others. Self love is a recent movement that is practiced, and while it is not intended to, promotes a level of arrogance, selfishness, godliness, and division. Since Jesus' love, the act of loving yourself is putting God first, and self love puts self first. So I totally understand that if you are not careful, you may confuse the two, but self love stimulates the idea that you are the priority, and that is not what the Bible teaches. Now go love yourself, spend time in the Word, praying and breaking down the barriers that bad advice, a hurtful past, and poor choices help to build. Now, self love, if you look at the definition of it, means to have a high regard for your own well being and happiness. Self love means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well being to please others. Now, not sacrificing your well being to please others, I get that. But, and I'm not saying to allow people to walk all over you, to mistreat you, or anything like that, to not take care of yourself, to not say no sometimes for because you're protecting your peace or you're just worn out and you need to rest. I'm not saying not do any of that. That's what I think that's what is meant by self-love, but because God spoke to me, I have to do and say what he says. And he says to not say self-love, but to instead say loving yourself, because they're not the same. And I get it. And I know that because that is a trend or a movement or a lifestyle that people have now come to find, it's going to be hard. But again, I'm not saying not do the things that are encompassed with the self-love, air quotes, movement or lifestyle. But I'm saying instead of saying self-love, just say loving yourself. It takes on a totally different meaning. So let's talk about burning sage for a moment. I think it's called smudging. Is another word term for burning sage. So lighting a smudge stick creates a spiritually cleansing smoke bath that can purify anything from crystals to spirit. This is what, when I googled origins of burning sage, this is what popped up. These are not my words. Um, it's a calling on of spirits of the plant being burned. Burning sage was or is a way of communing with the spiritual realm and connecting to the spirit of the plant and the earth. By burning sage with intention, you are asking the spirit of the sage to lend its cleansing and protective energy into your space, body, and energy. Reading that literally just made me weak. Not weak as in I'm funny. I'm weak as in I am spiritually drained. I can't even believe how, well, I can believe, and I can see why it was a trend or it is a trend. Somebody said it looked cool. It comes in with these cute little bundles and with these little trays and all that kind of stuff. You can use it for decoration. I get it. I get it. I get that your meaning behind you burning sage had one intention, but the origin of it has another. And I'm sitting here, this just stuck out to me. By burning the sage with intention, you are asking the spirit of the sage to lend its cleansing and protective energy. What? The spirit of the sage? Does that not sound like you worshiping sage and praying that sage comes and protects your home from evil spirits? Okay, so does that not sound like you worshiping another God or praying to a different God other than the God, the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? That's what it sounds like to me. But but people may not know that. And I'm not judging anybody. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm saying hear me, do your research, and when you know better, do better. That's what I'm saying today. Because the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The question of today's episode is, do you accept the assignment? Do you, as a believer, accept the assignment? I want you to go over to our IG page, IVL podcast, and leave your response to today's episode question. Do you accept the assignment? I am curious to know your answer, given the examples that I have laid here before you. Um, Moving along to this week in social media segment, um, it's in line with what we've already been talking about, and it should believers participate in Halloween. Now, I grew up um participating in Halloween, and then obviously as I got older, because who wants to be 20 years old going around saying trick or treat? You know what I'm saying? I stopped doing it. But then when I had kids, um I didn't participate for a long time. But then these last few years I have allowed my kids to go to Halloween parties and such. Um because I was like this guy that I'm about to tell you about. I saw this post on Erica Campbell's Instagram page. It was attached to a video, but long story short, was should believers participate in Halloween was the question essentially. And I don't know about you, but most oftentimes the best part of a post to me is the comment section. My God, there are some comedians out there, there are some idiots out there, and there are some very wise people out there. And if you search the comment section, you're gonna get your share of all. So this one guy said that he decides the meaning of Halloween in his household. And that's fine. Um, Actually, I'm gonna read you his one of his responses, because honey, he was going ham in the comments. But this is what he said. I'm not changing the origin, I'm changing the meaning. I am fully aware of the origin, but you can't tell me how I can define a holiday in my family. I clearly stated that was the past, and I had no intentions on changing the origin. Today, Halloween is celebrated differently with a completely different meaning than Satanism. Jesus died for our sins to do away with the Old Testament. Red flag. Guess what? I'm doing away with the origin, and I'm choosing to celebrate every holiday with love. Nevertheless, it ain't up for debate for me. It's my personal choice. Say what you want. I know what my intentions are for every celebration in my household, and it ain't Satanism. Now, the word intention has been flowing around today's episode. And I looked up intention, and it's just, it means purpose, the purpose of something, its intentions. Um, so, but I just thought this comment, it kind of spoke to me, and I'm using it as an example because how many of you know that because you opt to change the meaning of something, that doesn't detach it from its origin? That's that's what he's saying that he did, that he gave it a new meaning, and so now it didn't have anything to do with Satanism or satanic rituals or the like. Just because he decided, that's just like me saying, wrapping toilet tissue around my head, saying, "Oh, this a headband now." No, fool, you got toilet paper wrapped around your head. That's what that is. I can't change the origin of toilet paper just because I want to give it a new meaning. It's still gonna be toilet paper. Like, I be wondering, I wonder, did he read that before he? No, he couldn't have, because he released it. He hit post, and there it went. Um, and then he said that Jesus died for our sins to do away with the Old Testament. The whole Old Testament, sir? No, that's not why Jesus died. Jesus Jesus's death was the ultimate sacrifice so that we wouldn't have to, because back in the day they had to sacrifice crops and animals and such to atone for their sins. But by Christ being the ultimate sacrifice, we didn't have to do that anymore. The Old Testament was us living under the law, and the New Testament is us living under grace. because he died didn't do away with the entire Old Testament. It just meant that we didn't have to we no longer had to make sacrifices because Jesus paid he was the ultimate sacrifice. That's why he's called the ultimate sacrifice. So, yeah, he was talking loud and wrong, and I just thought I would bring that to you guys' attention because many of us can be out here in these streets like that, talking loud and wrong. Um, but yeah, because you decide to give something a different meaning doesn't change its origin. Who are you to change the origin of something? You know? Halloween was a tradition from the ancient Celtics. And when they would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. But then over time, Halloween kind of evolved into what we know it as today. And so in doing my due diligence, I was like, okay, it's an ancient it was originated from an ancient Celtic festival. Who are the Celtics, you know? So I just Google. I went to Professor Google and said was the um what was the ancient Celtics religion? And it said Celtic religion was polytheistic, if I'm saying that correctly. And that basically just means that they believed in many deities or both gods and goddesses. So they like Hinduism and other they had many gods. Um not like Christianity. And so if that was the origin of Halloween and it was like a ritualistic type thing to ward off ghosts, it had nothing to do with Christianity. So then why would I participate in it? Do, do you follow me? So I mean, all I'm doing is I'm picking apart my life, really is what I'm doing. And it's necessary because I don't want to have to answer for something unnecessarily because I knew better but just chose not to do anything differently. And I'm not telling you not to do these things. But what I am telling you is how you can find the answers and make an informed decision about how you're going to, live your life going forward. I'm enlightening you so that you can make an informed decision. That's what my task was today. I'm not telling you not to do these things. I'm not doing these things. But and I'm not judging you if you are. But you're going to have to answer for these things that you will have to answer for the things that you knew better than to do, if that makes sense. Right? So, to help us grow emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, we have a crystals gem. And today's gem comes from Joshua 24 and 15. And it says, in that verse, it says, to choose you this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And that's I actually have that on a little plaque by my door. And that's how I'm choosing to live my life. I'm picking apart my life and what doesn't fit or what's not Christ-like, it's gotta go. Because my faith is not it's not gray. It's black or white. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no gray area for me. And if there are any gray areas, or if I discover any gray areas, I'm going to do my diligence to make them be black or white. It either is or it isn't. You know what I'm saying? So as of today, I'm not now I'm gonna tell my kids that we're not doing Halloween anymore. And it's gonna be up to them. You know what I'm saying? Because I have told them. And literally, for us, it was just about getting candy. Well, I can go and buy us candy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's just about candy, because that's really all it was about for me, was the candy. We can go to the store and buy candy. Like, so we don't have to put our souls at jeopardy for some candy. Because that's basically what we'll be doing, right? Yeah, again, I'm not trying to step on any toes. I'm not judging. This is a safe space. But what I realize my purpose is with the podcast, I I enlighten you. I debunk things. I tell you I tell you what God is telling me, and then with my coaching sessions, I show you how to change or how to maneuver through those changes that you need to make. So I realized that they go hand in hand. I didn't realize that before. I was just doing my coaching sessions. I'm asking God, hey, what do you want me to help the people with, this week? And then with the podcast, what we talking about? You know what I'm saying? I literally I knew he wanted me to do a podcast, and I know he wants me to continue my coaching sessions, but I just didn't really see how they were fitting together, honestly, until recently. So they do go hand in hand. And like I said, I mean, I said this 18 times on this episode alone, that this is a safe space. I'm not judging you, I'm not condemning you. That's not even my place. I can't do that. Um, but I just want to give you um make you aware of things. And I only know this because I was made aware. Somebody had to tell me, girl, you're supposed to be doing it, right? And I was like, why not? Let me find out why not. So then I did my research, because you don't ever just take somebody's word for it, right? I go, and if somebody tell me something in the Bible, I'm like, oh, where you found that at? And then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna read it for myself and see if I get that same understanding. And if I don't, then we can come together and have a conversation. Okay, so why did you think that this went this way? Because I understood it to be saying this. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah. So that's it for today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed it and were able to have some good takeaways, some food for thought, you know what I'm saying? If you have questions, you can direct them to our podcast page at IVL podcast over on Instagram. That's also where I want you to answer the episode question of, do you accept the assignment? I'm going to be looking for your answers, and I'll respond. So again, closing out, thank you for listening. I love you beyond. I'll see you next time. Bye.